Well, good evening, friends. It's 7 o'clock. Hi there. Thank you so much for coming in. I see some familiar faces. We're so glad to see you here tonight. So my name is Katy Frankie, and I am a silver leader with Young Living. I'm also a mom of 9. Yes, you heard that right. And their ages 13 down to 13 months currently. So there's not much of an age difference between them either. I have the pleasure of meeting Miss Stacy Housman and Stephanie Peltier. Stephanie's not here yet, it doesn't look like, but she'll be in here. And tonight, the three of us get to talk to you about our experiences. We just met up a couple of weeks ago in Utah. We got to go to a Young Living farm, their lavender farm in Mona, Utah, and it is just an amazing experience. And so we're so thrilled to be here tonight just to welcome you and to talk about the Young Living life, because this is a whole lifestyle and we all have different stories, and we just want to share our stories with you and talk about what all this is about. Stacy, do you want to say hi?
Hey everyone, it's good to be here. Was excited to get to go to the farm and to get to meet some new friends and hang out with Katy and Stephanie and their guests, and my daughter and granddaughter got to go, and which is something I will always remember. And if you ever get a chance to get out there, do stop in and check it out, because it's just amazing in every single way.
I completely agree. It's so worth going to a farm. This was the second time that I've been to a Young Living farm, and it's just phenomenal. It's worth a worthwhile trip for sure. So we're going to start off just by telling you a bit about how we got started into a natural lifestyle. So I want to start by telling you a little bit about my story. So I said I'm a mom of 9. Motherhood is a huge part of my life. Interestingly, I had 3 years of fertility struggles before we had our first child. So I kind of know both sides of things. And it turns out that chemicals were a huge factor in all of the things that I was struggling with fertility. That's a different story for a different night. That's a hormone story we could talk about that has completely changed since I kicked chemicals out of our home. But as a mom, I had 1 child, and then I had a set of triplets a couple of years later. And then I had another child 1 year after that. So I had 5 kids, 5 and under. And when I had the triplets, I decided to cloth diaper, because we went from 1 child to 4 children, and from 2 incomes to 1. I started staying home, and to save money, I thought, okay, I'll cloth diaper. This looks kind of interesting. And so it is so interesting that cloth diapering opened up my eyes to this whole world of natural living. And as it turns out, 2 of my 3 triplets had eczema. And I was trying to figure out, what could this be? They had skin rashes all the time. They had yeast problems. And we were trying to figure out what that was about. And so I went in search. I'm a researcher, and I went in search of natural solutions. And in the cloth diapering community, my eyes were opened up to all these new things that I had never explored before. And I started gardening. I started grinding my own wheat and making our own bread. And I started kicking chemicals out a little bit at a time. And I thought I was doing really well when I was using organic dermatology tested and approved, all of these products that were supposedly better, but I wasn't seeing an improvement in their skin. When baby number 5 came along, she had severe eczema. I'm talking at 2 months old, her face was weeping eczema, open wounds. She would wake herself up at night, scratching in all of the creases of her body. She would wake herself up bleeding in the night. And as a mama, you feel like totally responsible. How can I help my child? That was number 1 priority. What can I do to help her get better? And as the researcher that I am, I just started trying to figure all of it out. We did all of the diet changes. Not a single one worked. We did allergy testing. We went to naturopaths and traditional medical doctors. We tried all the things that we need to do, all the lotions and potions and creams, and nothing helped. And one day I prayed about this all the time. And I had my 3-year-old daughter sitting in the bathtub, and I had just rinsed out her hair of her shampoo. And I felt like the Holy Spirit said, "What's in that shampoo? You need to check her shampoo." And of course, it was one of those organic, better, green washed labels. but the very first ingredient on the shampoo was sodium lauryl sulfate. And I'm so thankful for phones and Google, because I was right there in the bathtub with her, you know, she was in front of me, and I grabbed my phone and I typed in sodium lauryl sulfate. And of course, up pops all of this information about how dermatologists actually use it to irritate skin in their skin testing. They use it as the irritating agent to test their products that are supposed to help your skin from rashes. And I thought, this doesn't make much sense, does it? Lo and behold, after 3 years of her scratching herself to pieces and all of the pain that that caused, when we kicked out sodium lauryl sulfate from our home, my daughter's skin was clear within 2 weeks. Guys, when I found out that sodium lauryl sulfate is in shampoo, it's in toothpaste. Toothpaste. Do you know where we absorb the most chemicals in our body? Sublingually, that's under your tongue. Where does toothpaste hit? Are the red lights going off? Toothpaste, it's in household cleaners, it's in laundry detergent, it's even in eczema lotions. Why on earth would we put sodium lauryl sulfate in lotions that are supposed to help eczema when we know that it's a skin irritant that makes eczema worse? Now, not everyone's eczema is caused by SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, but my daughter's was. It was exacerbated, extremely exacerbated by that one chemical. And when I discovered that and I started kicking it out, that was when so much changed for us. But at the time, I really didn't know about oils. And see, Young Living, if you know much about it, you might associate Young Living with essential oils only. But what I discovered was Young Living is my easy button for chemical free. That was my easy button, because I was trying to make all the things from scratch. I was looking up recipes. How could I mix ingredients that help my daughter's skin? And what shampoo can we use? Every shampoo seemed to have bad ingredients, even though they were supposed to be safer and cleaner, or they were clean products, but they didn't actually work. And I had a friend who introduced me to Young Living, and she was like, listen, this stuff actually works. It's safe. And it actually works. And her son also had skin issues. And because she had experienced it herself, I thought, you know what do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? And so I started in with essential oils. But the real reason for me was not the oils. It was the easy button. It was that I can get all of my sulfate-free products from one place that I know are completely safe. In all of my research too, I discovered that phthalates and parabens, which are found in fragrances, are super hormonally disruptive. Very, very bad for all of us. And I learned about bioaccumulation. It's when the chemicals that we're exposed to in our environment, so whatever we breathe in, whatever comes in contact with our skin, so whatever fabric softener is on our clothes and sits on our skin, that absorbs into our skin. We eat chemicals and we drink chemicals. It's unavoidable, right? And over time, that accumulates in our system and it affects our health. That's why so many people have problems with sleep, issues with hormones and fertility, like I did, problems with anxiety and depression. This all affects our gut health, which affects our brain health. It is unbelievable. The inflammation that we experience, the chronic pain, the autoimmune issues. When I started discovering the effective chemicals, I was like, get them out. And Young Living's my easy button. So that it was probably about, I'm coming up on 4 years ago that I switched everything over, and I've never looked back, and it's been phenomenal. So I want to tell you one more short story. The year before I started Young Living, I had already been down this natural path a bit. And at that point, I think I had 6 children and they were like 7 or 8 years old and under. And I had the first 4 of them were in public school. So my oldest daughter was in 3rd grade and my triplets were in 1st grade. And I also had a preschooler at the time, I believe. And that winter season between October and March, I had 1 or 2 or more children out every single week of school from Halloween till St. Patrick's Day. That is not an exaggeration. If I had been working, I would not have been able to work because I would have missed so much time staying home with sick children. I didn't get to go to church. I didn't see my girlfriends. I was stuck in my house and I thought I was doing everything right. I was using Lysol with fragrances, thinking I was killing germs. And what I found out then, fast forward to the following year, we were eating the same. We were eating really, really well. I was really diligent about making sure my kids got good sleep, that we were avoiding sugar. I was still doing all the immune boosting things, I thought. But then when I switched to Thieves household products and I switched to all the sulfate-free things from Young Living, our whole winter was completely different. The year that the year before Young Living, my kids each missed more than 10 days apiece in the middle two quarters of the school year. So between October and March, they each missed more than 10 days of school. The following winter, when we switched to Young Living, they all missed less than 2 days of school the entire school year. That says it all. And most of the reason that they missed 2 days or fewer was mostly for dental appointments. It wasn't even because they were out because they were sick. And so for me, Young Living, that was the difference. We were already living a healthier lifestyle, but Young Living became the even better, healthier lifestyle for us. So Stacy is going to tell us her story next. Stacy, why don't you tell us about how you got started?
Hey there. So back in 2014, my daughter and I went to our first essential oil class, and it was with another company. And I was just looking for something, mainly the beginning was for headaches, because I'd had almost 3 decades worth of migraines and just daily ongoing issues with that. Had missed a lot of family functions. I spent a lot of time in bed with a washcloth over my eyes and my head. And looking back, I wish I could have seen what I know now, of what was causing those headaches. But thankfully, I didn't get started that night. I was a little overwhelmed, walked away, and just thought, okay, I need to look into this more. And then pretty soon after that, a friend had posted on Facebook that the essential oils were helping her. And she was the only person I knew that was using essential oils. So I thought, okay, here's a real person that I know. So I reached out to her, and she invited me to a class at Kathleen Harvey's house. And so I went there a few days later, and thankfully realized that I needed to give this a try, because I tried so many things. Had been on 3 different medications every day for years and years. I knew that wasn't good for me, but I didn't know what else to do. And so I got my bundle of oils and my diffuser, not this one, it was the home diffuser with the little purple top, and just started trying different things as things come up. And a lot of things did, as I didn't realize all the little issues we had throughout the day. I was like, okay, I spent money on these oils, we're going to give them a try. And so we took them to Orlando with us on vacation, and there was issues there. So I seem to know in my heart, like this could be a good thing. And so, the next month I made my little order, and I ordered my Thieves cleaner, my Thieves concentrated cleaner, and I started using that a little more, started diffusing more, and I started feeling better. So I started realizing my body was able to say, this is what you need. And so that's kind of how I got started. And as I've gone along and been able to hear other stories like yours, Katy and Stephanie, and so many of you, and others that God has put in my path, I've just had to share more and more to let people know there's a better way. So landed me here at Young Living, where I'm still learning and growing and excited to go forward to learn more. So that's my story.
Okay, so it's my turn. Sorry, I was on a little bit late. Life is crazy. Okay, so my name's Stephanie, and I got started. Oh, I don't know. That's kind of the weird part about my story. So officially, I signed up with Young Living almost 2 years ago. I'm about to come up on 2 years. But I actually got my very first starter kit as a gift from my mother-in-law, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I'd heard about essential oils. I always wanted to try them. We did not have the budget for them. So I had talked, my sister-in-law was technically a distributor at that point. And so I talked to my mother-in-law into, well, if you buy the kit under her, it gives her a kickback, blah, blah, blah. And so they're like, okay, well, that's a great idea. Thank you. Thank you. So she bought me my very first starter kit for Christmas a couple years ago. But of course, even though I am a researcher and like I love digging into information, I was kind of like Stacy, where I was overwhelmed. I pulled the box out, there was 12 oils in there. I didn't even try the Ningxia Red samples. Like, I don't even think I opened most of anything. I think I diffused once or twice, and I was like, okay, I don't know how to use these. So I put them away because I had no support system. My mother-in-law bought it for me as a gift. Nobody to talk to, nobody asked questions. So that was that. Then fast forward a couple of years, and I was pregnant with the little peanut who just walked out the door, and ran into some really hard, like, mental health struggles. I just was struggling with anxiety and some depression, and just being, I was like, I just feel like I'm out of my mind and I'm drowning. Oh, sorry. And I have 3 other children. She's my 4th. And I was like, moms can't be in that state. We can't function in that state. So that November, I ended up going to a wellness roundtable thing here in Minnesota. All these different experts got up and shared just their 20-minute blurb. Somebody briefly mentioned essential oils, and I was like, oh yeah, I have some of those in my closet, and I know they're expensive. Like, maybe I should pull them out. So honestly, essential oils were my last ditch effort to try anything. I was cutting sugar, I was using all my supplements, exercising, like anything that I knew could naturally help my mental health. I was doing. And so I was like, all right, I literally told the Lord, I was like, all right, this is my last ditch effort to try something before I go seek medical help, which for me, just, I have nothing against that or anything. I don't want to make anybody think that. It's just more for where I was at. And with being pregnant, I was like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that and taking a pharmaceutical or something. So anyhow, long story short, that was where I started. And within 6 weeks, I was realizing I could feel a difference. My family was seeing a difference. My mom actually brought it up to me and was like, what you doing? Because something's really different. So that was when I was like, all right, like, I think this is legit. And I dug in a little bit more. And like that was my lead in to why I got started. But similarly to Katy, just with, issues with your kids being sick. My son had started school that year. He was in kindergarten. Yep. Sick, runny noses. He was bringing crap back into my home. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm so sick of feeling like I'm drowning. Like, I'm constantly under the water when it comes to trying to keep up with health. Like, I couldn't ever keep my family healthy. I was always on the offensive rather than like being defensive and, starting ahead of time and getting our immune systems high or whatever. So that was another huge reason for me, just with small children. I was really sick of something constantly being in our house about every 2 weeks. That just seems to be the norm. We were sick every 2 weeks. Someone had something, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this. So I started with my Thieves kit to officially get signed up and dive in. And, luckily I got connected in with this amazing tribe who actually does help educate you and tells you how to use things and do things. Yeah. And that's where I'm at for right now. So, okay, I think we're going to move on to some of the how to use and all that. Back to Katy.
Yes, I love hearing your guys' stories. And I think we're also similar. I mean, we all experience that. And yes, sickness, like it cycles over and over and over through the houses. And once you realize though, like what causes it and how the chemicals make it worse and what all this is doing to our bodies, knowledge is power. When you know better, you do better. And I feel like with Young Living, we have all learned. You just keep learning. I love that, Stacy, you said that you're like still learning and growing. Yeah, I learn new stuff every single day. I learn new stuff. It's amazing. And it has been such a boost to be a part of this community, to keep learning about what keeps us well. And yep, Stephanie, what you talked about, instead of drowning and being under the wellness line, we are aiming to be above it and take care of ourselves before something happens. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you use oils and how you use these products. There are 3 really simple ways to use oils. We can use them topically, just put them on your skin. You can smell them, you use them aromatically. And I see that Stacy's got her diffuser right there with her. She's going to talk about that. And the 3rd way to use them is ingesting them. And that's what I'm going to cover here briefly. So if you've ever chewed peppermint gum, you have had essential oils. If you have ever eaten fresh herbs, you have chewed on the essential oils inside those leaves. Essential oils are just part of the plant. We call them the lifeblood of the plant. It's the liquid that flows through the veins of a plant that heals the plant if it gets hurt. Just like what blood does for us, carries oxygen, carries nutrients, all of that stuff. That's what essential oils do for plants. And what's so amazing is that God designed our bodies to work together with plants. Plants and people work together, just like, you know, how the trees exhale what we breathe in and we exhale what they breathe in. Yeah, oils, that's how oils work in our bodies too. Our bodies recognize the chemical compounds that oils are made up of. And so our cells are really, really open to essential oils. And I use that word on purpose. Oils actually can unlock and open up the receptor sites of our cells. So man-made chemicals, I love sciencey stuff and I love chemistry. So when you look at man-made chemicals, they typically have, you remember all the like CHO, all the chains and stuff that we would make in chemistry class. Even if you took basic chemistry, you probably did equations that had like the big chemical makeup of stuff. Those compounds that are man-made are super long structures and our cells do not readily open to them. So pharmaceuticals, they look foreign to our cells and they have to, they basically have to kick down the door and they force their way into our cells. Now, not all pharmaceuticals are bad. That's not my point here. I'm just saying it's a different mechanism. They get into our cells forcefully. So like if you take a sleeping pill, what happens every time? You get sleepy. It forces its way into your cells. But if you use lavender because you want to relax and you take a little pill of lavender and your body doesn't need to go to sleep, it will not force you to go to sleep. It may help you relax though. So our bodies will adapt and use the oils in the way that they need. Did you ever go to the nurse's office in school and get a peppermint if you had an upset tummy? Peppermint oil is amazing for digestion. So what I have learned is I keep Young Living's veggie capsules on hand. My favorite way to ingest oils probably is this. You take a little capsule, you pop it open, you just pop it open and you can drop oils in. So Young Living has, their oils are so pure that you can ingest them safely. We have 2 different labels on oils. The colored label it tells you instructions for aromatic and topical use. And the white label is the FDA approved ingestion. It's considered GRAS, GRAS, generally recognized as safe for consumption. Okay, and they are non-GMO. We're going to talk about that a little bit here in a few minutes. We'll talk about Young Living's quality, their seed to seal promise. But this bottle is called Digize, and this bottle is called Digize. They have different labels, but they're the exact same oil, right? So when we talk about ingesting oils, I use the white label here. You would just put a couple of drops of this oil into the capsule. And then I like to top it off with coconut oil or olive oil, some kind of a fatty oil. It just helps it to absorb a little bit more slowly into your system. And you take it with water. And little trick, in case you didn't know it, to take capsules easier, look down when you swallow. It opens up that passage so that the pill can go down easier. I loved learning that trick. And my kids, my kids are able to take capsules of oils, gosh, probably from about the time that they're 8 years old or so. I am comfortable giving these to my children because they are so safe and they're so effective. 1 or 2 drops typically is all that you need. Can you guess what Digest is for? Do we all know that? Everything digestion. Peppermint is also great. A drop of Digest with a drop of peppermint is so phenomenal. It will take away the bubbly pain. Okay, so good. So ingesting oils, another way that Young Living has made it really easy for us to ingest oils is by giving us some of the best supplements on the planet. We have the research that's done on the oils shows that our bodies absorb more nutrients, more of the vitamins from our supplements when oils are added to them. The oils open up the receptor sites on the cells so that the cells will accept and absorb the nutrients. It's so cool. Like our multigreens vitamins. I love these. None of us get enough greens, really, do we? Like, can anyone say they eat enough greens a day? I take multigreens every day and they have essential oils added to them and they're so effective. Like they help me with energy. They help with gut health. They help with pooping. Some of my favorite supplements that I also give to my kids, Super C chewables. These taste delicious and my kids like them. Vitamin C is so important right now, guys. Vitamin D, we have a super vitamin D. I don't know if you can read this with my lighting, sorry, but the super vitamin D, they're these teeny tiny little chewable tablets, and they are so effective. We all need vitamin D and vitamin C. This is stuff that's in my regular routine with my kids. We have golden turmeric powder that you can put in your drinks. Turmeric is so good for joint health. And frankincense resin, frankincense is added to that. It's good for everything. You need to look up frankincense if you don't know about that. But ingesting oils, it's really good for us. It's safe for us. I like to add oils to water, especially citrus oils. Not only does it taste amazing, it's really good to help everything flush out. And so different oils have different actions in your body. And the more that you're in the community, the more that you can learn about ingesting oils. Mighty Bites for kids. We have probiotics. My kids get a Mighty Pro probiotic. How many of you guys, I know there are several members in here. Raise your hand if you take Young Living probiotics. They're amazing. They're so good. My kids, adults like Mighty Pro as well. I like Life 9 personally, but I use Mighty Pro when I'm traveling. Yeah, so there are a plethora of choices when it comes to oils and supplements that you can take. And I love that I can get this in my monthly order and not have to worry about it. Again, it's my easy button. I just know that it's there. Okay, so Stacy, are you talking next about diffusing, right? Aromatic use of oils.
Yes, I can go. That is good. Thank you, Katie. Love that. And no, I did not know about putting my chin down to swallow supplements. So I will be using that trick. Thank you. I needed that. Okay, so grab an oil close to you and do a drop in your hands. So Brian and Jody has us do this sometimes. And since they're not here, we'll do it in honor of them, right? We want to, I've got Valor. Since I'm on a Zoom call with all of you, I need some Valor. And then we just want to breathe it in, some nice deep breaths several times. That is one way that we can use oils aromatically. Super easy to keep an oil with you wherever you go. Keep it in your pocket that you can pull out, or used for your children, used for others that are needing it. You know, putting it on maybe some diffuser jewelry. I've got a diffuser necklace here that's got a little felt deal in it, and we can put the oil in there and smell it straight from the necklace. There's all sorts of ways, maybe a leather watch band. So you want to be breathing that in. When we breathe in an essential oil, it's going straight to the limbic part of our brain that controls the emotions and memories that we have. That our brain is so amazingly created that it will send the messages to the rest of the body for all the other systems. I mean, it can help us calm down when we are stressed, help us have courage when we need it, like I do right now. Breathe better. So if we breathe in some peppermint or some raven when we're just needing to open things up, it's great for that. We can use the diffusers. Those are so easy to use. Young Living's got a ton of different ones now. I don't have them all, but I do have quite a few around my house, and I like that. But when I first got started, I just used the one diffuser I had, and I just moved it from the bedroom night downstairs, and I just carried it around everywhere I went. So it was like my pet diffuser. So to use a diffuser, you just open it up, add your water in, and there's a fill line. Do a few drops if you're just getting started, or up to maybe 8 to 10 drops, whatever you like. Then you just put the cover back on, get it started. This Desert Mist Diffuser, when you turn it on the first time, it will go about 4 hours. You hit that same button again, it'll go 6 to 8, and then 10 to 12, I believe. The other button works all of the lights. So we got candle flicker for those of us who loved candles and gave up our candles because they were so full of everything we didn't need to be breathing. And I figured out that was one of the things that was causing my headaches, along with the plugins. I typically will have mine on the candle flicker. But of course, it goes through all the different colors. It's beautiful to watch. When my grandbaby's over here, we will watch that while she's falling asleep, and have fun with that. So, but there's several others that you can choose from. So in the chat, write what oil you used, why you like to breathe it in. Also, what do you like to diffuse? So right now, a lot of us are putting in the cinnamon bark, clove, nutmeg, some orange, just to get some false scents in there. It's fun to play around with the different scents, but seriously, if you just put lemon in there, and Jody McKenna was telling us that her family feels better every time that she just puts plain old lemon in there. So you can't go wrong with that. The citrus oils are happy oils, and they just freshen the space, purify the air. So yeah, when we're breathing those in, that's important. It's pushing out the things in our body that shouldn't be there. So diffusing is important. Also, we are breathing in whatever we're cleaning with. So for me, I was using Pine Sol, Scrubbing Bubbles, Comet. My sister used to sing a song, Comet Makes You Vomit. And I was thinking about that today. I thought, I think it really does. I didn't know that back then. She was trying to be funny, but it was really bad. It was really bad for us, and it wasn't good to breathe. So, so you're breathing in the things that you're cleaning with. So I don't know if you've ever been in a shower, you're scrubbing it down. It's like, okay, I feel a little dizzy and lightheaded. Need to get some fresh air. That's your body's way to say, this is not good for you. So symptoms are a good thing. Dr. David Stewart taught us that. I appreciated that. Our headaches, our sinus infections, that those feelings that aren't good, that we try to slap a Band-Aid on with, one medication or another. Those are good for emergency, but we need to get to the reason why we're feeling the way that we are, because we were created to feel really good. So the Thieves Cleaner, if you've not used it, you've really got to try it. I think it's just an amazing deal, like around $23 for a bottle of Thieves Concentrated Cleaner. Just takes a cap full for about this size bottle of water. Got your all-purpose cleaner, less than $1. We use this for everything: carpets, bathrooms, kitchens, everything, outside, inside. If you have not tried the Thieves Cleaner, let us know. We will get you a sample. I'll make sure that you get one. But yeah, diffusing will just change everything. And once I got away from the candles, I don't miss them. In fact, I can't hardly be around them anymore. It's just like, I would rather breathe in real cinnamon, real oranges, real roses, real plants versus lab created synthetic chemicals, perfumes. So if you are having any asthmatic, any breathing, anything like that issues, try diffusing instead, and you know, just box up any of that stuff that you got sitting around and just try it and see if you don't feel better. Okay, Stephanie, you're up.
All right, so I've got the third way, which is topical use, which just means you put them on, which actually Stacy kind of helped us. We put the drop in our hand, smelt it. So although we were smelling it, yes, we applied it to our body. So you do absorb whatever is, you know, on your body. And there's two ways that you can use it topically. That's either to apply it neat, which means exactly what we did, straight out of the bottle. You just put a drop on, neat, or diluted, which I'll talk a little bit more in depth about dilution, how all that works, what you can do with it in a couple minutes when we go over some like safety tips and stuff. But basically, topical application is super simple. Choose your oil and you put it on. Like, I'm like, seriously, like, I love oils because as much as they are overwhelming in the beginning, when you really start to understand them and you break it down, they're really simple. It's really, really simple. You know, and I know people ask me all the time, but how am I going to know where to put it on? Honey, just put it on. Just like, okay, for me, one of my favorite places is my wrist. I like to put a drop on, I rub it, I smell it. It's great. Young Living also has the most amazing things. They're roller glide tops. You get two like in your starter kit. They go right on the bottle. So I love to roll oils behind my ears, the back of my neck. If I'm struggling with like tension, headache, all of that, I put oils on my chest all the time. Belly button is a great place. Bottom of your feet is a great place. Literally, doesn't matter. Put them on. Like, I'm like, it's just so simple. Actually, another favorite place for me is actually my hair. I use my hair as a diffuser. I put a drop or two on my head. And then like once in a while throughout the day, as you like move, you're like, ooh, that smells lovely. I put them on the top of my kid's head. They wear them all over. Actually, my kids are honestly probably more obsessed with oils than I am. The little one who keeps coming in and out is an oil fiend. Not even kidding. Like, begs me to put oils on her. Okay, sorry, that was off topic. But so anyhow, get them on your body. Take your oils, put them on your body. Again, going back to, should you dilute? Should you use them neat? A lot of that boils down to your understanding, your confidence level, you know, where you're at in your own personal choice. I know a lot of people who only use diluted. Nope, that's the only way I'm going to use them. Put them in roller bottles, all that. I'm like, great, you're putting them on your body, go for it. Personally, I mostly only use my neat. It's just the way I like to do it. I'm also kind of lazy and don't have time to put together the roller bottles all the time. So it's just easy for me. But another way, like once you get a little bit more advanced and you've been using oils for a while and you're like, okay, I have a specific, you know, organ or body part I want to like try to work on or whatever. Well, this is what I always tell people. I'm like, oils really boil down to a lot of common sense. If you're, you know, struggling with a muscle ache, you're like, oh, my arm hurts so bad. Maybe don't put the oils on the bottom of your feet. Like, you know, maybe like, oh, I'm going to put it here on my arm. Like, that just makes sense. But also there's some ways that we can kind of figure out where to apply them on our body. And one of those is through the VitaFlex charts. So there are VitaFlex charts that correspond with all the organs in your body, your feet. They actually don't have anything to do with essential oils, which is so cool. Well, it's another thing, but you can use your essential oils to help the process even more. So if you just look up the VitaFlex charts, they'll come up on the internet and it'll tell you like on the bottoms of your feet where each organ corresponds in your body. And you can put the oils there to actually help like jumpstart things even more. So again, I didn't do that right from the beginning. I don't always do it that way. If I'm in a hurry and I need an oil, I just put it on, I don't really worry about it. I'm like, a lot of places tend to just goes right on my chest because I can breathe it in. It's right there, like easy peasy lemon squeezy. If I have some time to actually sit down, pull out my chart, look through things and be like, okay, I want to focus on this area. Then once in a while, like I'll do it that way. Gosh. Oh, and so another way though, really quickly that I want to talk about topical application that's a little bit different that people don't always think about. Again, thank you, Young Living, like Katy says, easy button, makeup. So one of the things that I worked on switching over, and it was actually one of my precursors to getting into like natural health, all of that, was makeup. I don't know how, ended up on, a study or research or something that was talking about how toxic your makeup is, and your skin is your biggest organ in your body. It's absorbing everything you're putting on it, yada, yada. And I kind of got a little freaked out. I mean, rightly so. So I started looking into makeup and clean makeup alternatives, all of that. Young Living has really awesome makeup. I specifically use like their foundation, their concealer, their mascara. Like they have awesome makeup. It's clean. They also have body products, lotions, shampoos. Katy kind of touched on some of that at the beginning. Like they have all of those for us. And it's easy. It's so easy because I can't believe how many products I was buying and purchasing that I thought were clean, but were greenwashed. And so once I actually did my research and looked into them, I was like, this is literally no better than the $2 cheapie from the dollar store, like full of toxins. I'm smearing it all over my body. Awesome. So another way that you can kind of think about, I know, hold on. You can kind of think of as like a topical application. Sorry, is anything that you're putting on your body, any of your lotions, your sprays, your, oh my gosh, sunscreen. Please, I know nobody on here is using traditional sunscreen because we're all smart, right? I'm like that stuff. Oh my gosh, so scary. Anyhow, so those are kind of my ideas as far as topical goes. Young Living is a fantastic place to get all of your beauty products, deodorants, all of it. It's easy. They have everything. Okay, that's what I got.
I love it. Yeah, honestly, now after being in for 4 years, my monthly subscription box is mostly like deodorant, toothpaste, shampoo, household cleaner, laundry detergent. It's all that stuff that makes such a huge difference in how we feel. And then Young Living is so great that they give oils for free. A lot of times you're getting oils for free with your monthly orders. And yeah, I've got all of these amazing oils, a lot of them for free because my orders, it's all the stuff we use. It's the toothpaste that doesn't have sodium lauryl sulfate in it. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. So we want to touch base about why Young Living is different. Because the three of us were just at a farm together, like it's really important to help people understand why Young Living. See, when I was on this natural health journey before I found Young Living, I actually tried a whole lot of other essential oil companies. I tried a lot of other brands. I had delved into that natural living stuff with cloth diapering. Oils and cloth diapers kind of go hand in hand. I don't know why, and I didn't know that when I started cloth diapering, but I started learning about oils. And I tried all this stuff from drugstores and Walmart and Hobby Lobby, and none of it worked. And it smelled like turpentine. Like it was gross. And I just like had poo-pooed the whole idea of essential oils. I just thought they didn't work. But people kept talking about them and I didn't understand why. I was like, but they don't work. That's just, it was the whole snake oil thing, And then when I started researching, my friend was like, no, I'm telling you, Young Living's different. And so I was like, researcher me, okay, what's different about them? Yeah, right, let's see. Don't you just love my really smart aleck attitude? I was like, oh yeah, let's look at this. So I started researching it and I was like, I found out that there are no standards for labeling oils pure. Anything can be labeled pure. That is not a regulated term. Did you know that? Natural is not a regulated term. It's not regulated. So anybody can call anything natural. And there's nobody to fact check that one. So when I discovered that actually a lot of the oils that sit on shelves in stores that you can walk in and pick it up and nobody tells you about it. When you read the label, it says it's for aromatic use only. Do not put it on your skin and do not ingest it. Red lights should be flashing. If you can't put it on your skin, why? If it's just a plant, why wouldn't you be able to put it on your skin? That doesn't make sense. Well, it's because it's not actually just a plant liquid in that bottle. They put in fillers, they put in additives, they use chemicals to pull the essential oil out of the plant. So then you get chemicals in with your essential oil. No, Young Living, what I found out when I started researching is Young Living is completely different. They only put oils in their bottles, and they have this process that they call seed to seal. Their seed to seal standard is that they use non-GMO heirloom seeds. They're very particular about their seeds. They hand plant their seeds. We just planted lavender at the lavender farm in Mona. They have a little what's it called? A post hole digger, except it's smaller. It makes little holes in the ground and you put the little lavender starter right in there. It's amazing. They hand plant their all of their plants. They own or partner with all of their farms around the world. And the climates that they choose to grow different crops in are the natural climate of that crop. So where the plants grow is just as important as everything else. They're particular about their water. They are particular about their soil. They do not use pesticides or herbicides that are chemical man-made stuff. Nothing yucky, nothing harmful. They hand weed, they hand harvest, and they harvest at peak season. For each plant, they distill. They know what temperature to distill at. They know how long to let the plants rest before they put them in to be distilled. They distill on site. And there's testing throughout. The seed to seal process is so unbelievable. It's so unmatched. You can't even compare to any other oil company. It is absolutely the best of the best of the best. And you can walk into a farm and witness it for yourself anywhere in the world, whenever you want. Like, who does that? Nobody does that. Young Living is the only place that I know that does that. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And so you can, if you want to know more about that, they have a whole website dedicated to this. It's seedtoseal.com. So you can look more up about that. But when I understood why Young Living was so different and how particular they are about their oils from the very beginning to the very end, to the seal of that bottle, that they have my complete trust. And I've been there, I've seen it, participated in it. It's amazing. Do you guys have anything to add to that about Young Living being different? Did I cover it? We're good? Okay, Stephanie, why don't you go ahead and talk again next? What was the next thing? I got us out of order, girls. I'm sorry from the beginning.
Oh, it's not a big deal at all. I mean, we knew we were all going to be talking. It's not
okay, good.
And I would totally second everything, Katy just said. Young Living is incredible. And even before I got started, I tried several different essential oils companies. I just sat there, sniffed them all like I was supposed to. I think I did apply most because I didn't know, had no idea whatsoever. A couple of them were off Amazon. Oh my gosh. A couple of them were brands that shall remain nameless. Like I had small companies send me their essential oils, big companies, all these different things. So I tried several different companies. And, whenever people ask me, they're like, well, why? Why did you choose Young Living? And honestly, because my body, I felt a difference. I felt that they were alive and I could feel the energy from the essential oil. I don't know how to describe it. And I didn't even know anything at that point. I had no idea that essential oils have energies in them. Everything's vibrating, blah, 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 like all this stuff. I had no idea whatsoever. That was all I could chalk it up to, was that I felt the difference with Young Living and I didn't with the other ones. Some of them smelled really good, but I was like, I'm not looking just for candles. Okay, you are just got crackers all over my floor. Okay, so I'm going to dive into safety and just some cautionary things, because everyone's super nervous to get started with essential oils. Like, oh my gosh, they're so scary. Are they scary, Simi? no. Okay, we're gonna break it down. Like literally, I usually break down safety in my classes in like 30 seconds because that's about all we need. Don't put them in your eyeballs. Don't put them in your ear canals. Like that seems smart, right? Like I don't want to drop a peppermint in my eyeball. And really a lot of essential oil usage, like I said, comes down to common sense. Also, something to note is there are oils that can cause photosensitivity. Most of the citrus oils, and again, it's not necessarily that they will, it can be, skin sensitivity, all kinds of different things, but be aware of it. You don't want to slather yourself in lemon essential oil and then go sunbathing. Not smart. So some of the other oils could be lime. Bergamot is actually one that people don't know about. I've heard angelica can cause photosensitivity, and it is listed on the side of the bottle. It's all on there. Each bottle will kind of tell you how to use it. It'll warn you if there's possible sun sensitivity on it. So it's there. Some oils cause photosensitivity. Third, there's such thing as hot oils. And hot oils are exactly what you think. They cause a warming sensation. So beware, because sometimes you put them on and you're like, oh my gosh, it's happened, and it's fine. Here's the deal. If you were ever to put on an oil and the sensation is too much for you, too warm, you're like, oh my gosh, it's burning, whatever. Thank you. Yes, thank you. You need to know to dilute with an oil, a carrier oil, not water. Water can actually, thank you, I appreciate that. Water can actually make the sensation worse. And carrier oils are basically anything you can find in your kitchen. Olive oil, coconut oil, there's grapeseed, jojoba, even butter in a pinch can be used as a carrier oil. So if you're like, I just put an entire bottle of peppermint on my body, I just poured the whole thing over me because I wanted to feel the burn. Okay, not smart again, but if all that's there is butter, you rub that stick of butter all over your body and it'll calm down. Hot oils can be cinnamon, nutmeg, raven is considered a hot oil, peppermint, wintergreen. Again, a lot of them are just very common sense oils, ones you're like, oh yeah, that sounds like you could have like a warming sensation. It also says it on the bottle. So, or they have the childproof caps on them. If you've ever wondered, well, why does one or two have childproof caps and the other ones don't? It's because they can cause a warming sensation. Now, again, they can. Sometimes, I don't know, people love it. Like my husband loves Cool Azul. What are those other ones? Oh, Panaway, all the ones with the warming sensation. He's like, just put them on me straight. Okay, so it really depends on people. Okay, I already talked about carrier oils, right? Yes, okay. So mentioned earlier, some people prefer to use their essential oils diluted. So if you are at all new to this, or you're worried about like, ooh, I just don't know if I want to risk putting a drop of peppermint on and feeling that warming sensation. No problem at all. One of the easiest ways to dilute your essential oils and have them ready to go are the cute little 10 ml roller bottles that you see everybody using, everybody wearing and all that stuff. You can find them on Amazon. There's a million different places to sell them. So what you would do with something like that is put your desired amount of essential oil drops in there. People do anything from 5 drops to 25 to 30, personal preference. It's all personal preference. Put your drops in the bottle and fill the rest with like a carrier oil. Fractionated coconut oil is great. It's the liquid form of, the white stuff that we use in our kitchen. I like to use like jojoba oil, rosehip oil. And again, carrier oils, it's personal preference. There are ones that are a little bit better for like skin. I didn't realize this. I've been using coconut oil as a moisturizer for years. Never realized coconut oil can actually clog your pores. Cool. I was like, all right, that was brilliant. So a better one to use is like jojoba oil, rosehip oil, something like that. Yeah, so one of the ways that you can dilute them, have them ready on hand and ready to go is through like a roller bottle. For my kids, if my kids are sick and I want to kind of like slather them in oils, one of the easiest ways I found to do that is just to take out like a tablespoon of coconut oil, put a couple drops of oils in there. I just mix it up with my finger and I rub. Like it's so simple, so easy. Actually, my kids know when I'm like, okay, like if you're sick, I'm like, okay, let's put oils on. They will run to my living room, grab pillows off the couch, and they lay on the floor and they pull their shirt up because they know I'm going to roll them along their spine most likely. Like they just know. Which, speaking of kids, I do always recommend that you keep your oils up and out of reach. It's not because they're not safe. I use my oils on all of my children. Like I said, Sammy she's oil obsessed, like almost annoyingly, where she like really puts it on. I'm like, whoa, girl, whoa. And that's one of the reasons why you want to keep them up. Oils are safe. And when we teach our children wise habits, when we demonstrate wise habits for them, like I have no problem with my kids seeing, using, loving oils. What I do have a problem with is when they dump out an entire bottle because they're not cheap. And I've had that happen before. So just as a, precautionary measure, I do keep mine up. We have set the rule in my house that you have to ask mama before you use oils, because I don't want them using the entire bottle. And quick story here. So I have actually had one of my children, my very mischievous third child, she was about 2.5 when this happened. I was teaching a class downstairs in the basement one night after all of the kids had gone to bed. And no, this is not for you. This is not for you. Here, you do this one. Oh, you're a stinker. So I was teaching a class after they'd gone to bed, and I flung my hands and I knocked one of my essential oils. Oh, good gravy. Sorry, I hurt her feelings because I said no. It's very well. It's here. Are you gonna be okay? Can you go tell Papa? I know. You're supposed to be watching a movie with Papa. Okay. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me while she's crying. There we go. I think we're okay. So I knocked a bottle of Endoflex onto the floor and it rolled under the couch. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get that as soon as I'm done. Did I get that as soon as I was done? No, I did not. I forgot. And so of course, the next day, as my children are playing in the basement, who found it? The 2-year-old found it. Yep. So she comes up the stairs. She's screaming bloody murder. I thought somebody got hurt, not abnormal with children. She's screaming. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, what the heck? So I see her coming up the stairs. She's like death clutching the bottle in one hand while rubbing her eye with the other. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So sure enough, the 2-year-old had gotten the cap off the Endoflex bottle, put it on all over her hands, rubbed it in her eye. So she's screeching, crying. Like, I mean, her eye is red. I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, okay, like this is the moment. I'm going to practice what I preach and see if everything I've been telling people is actually true. So I grab her, throw her up on the counter, grab the bottle of coconut oil. I mean, like, I kid you not, stick my hand in there, biggest blob ever. And I just slid it across her eye, grabbed a clean towel, wiped it off of her eye. By the time I was putting that second glob of coconut oil on to help cool things down, she had already visibly calmed down, stopped crying, and was starting to talk to me and tell me the story. I did do 3 globs of it and just kind of smeared it around, cleaned it off with that clean washcloth, did it again. Done. Literally told me the story, was like, Mom, I wanted to put oils on. I did this and that. I put them in my eye. It hurt. I'm like, yeah, I know it hurts. That's why you have to tell Mom before you use these things. And that was it. And she ran off and played. I was floored. So within 10 seconds, done, over, nothing more. I instantly went to, what if that had been bleach? What if she had gotten into bleach down in my washroom or something and rubbed bleach in her eye? Would a little bit of coconut oil taken that away and made that not a problem anymore? Like, it was a happy, happy moment for me. So I do have a testimony as far as it works. I know that carrier oils work, coconut oil and all that, they work. But again, teach your children good habits. Try to teach them to have a parent around you know, if they're young and they want to use the oils, it's definitely helpful. If you're nervous at all about getting started using oils with your kids, the Kid Sense line is amazing. It does come pre-diluted, and so you can just put them on, no fear. It's absolutely awesome. My kids love it. I love it. The Kid Scent Kid Power is actually one of my favorite oils. It smells like a dreamsicle. Yeah. Okay, that's what I got. So I think I covered everything on safety. If not, add it in there for me.
Oh, sounding good. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Your little girl is adorable, by the way. So sweet. So if you need oils and you're not using oils yet, I'm supposed to tell you how to do that. So all you have to do is real easy. Go to youngliving.com, and then you just search the products that you want. So say you want a thieves cleaner, or you want some of the Kid Sense oils that Stephanie was sharing with, or the Super D or Super C that Katy was sharing, all the 700 plus products that Young Living has given us so far, such wonderful options there. And so you just go youngliving.com, search your product, and then it is going to ask you if you want to place a one-time order or subscribe. So if you do one-time order of 100 PV, then you've unlocked a savings of 24% off for a year. If you don't want to spend that much, you could put any item or various items on subscribe to save. And that also unlocks 24%. So either of those ways would get the 24% off. Now, the best way, I got to tell you, is to do subscribe to save and do at least 50 PV every month, if you can at all. Try that, because then you're going to start getting 10% back in points that you can redeem later. So those last up to a year, and it's really awesome to be able to turn those in and get some other things that your family needs. The bundles, we still offer those, all the starter bundles, whether it's thieves or the starter kit with the diffuser and oils. That's still my favorite. We've got smaller bundles or larger, but if you'd rather get started with a smaller amount of products, that is totally an option now. And then you get free gifts on subscribe to save if you spend certain amounts. So if you spend 100, then you get free shipping. If you spend 190, then you get several items. This month they are giving the nutmeg, cinnamon bark, and clove, I believe, at the 190, and then at 250 and 300 and 400, I can't remember which ones are which, but you could get Emu Pro, which is a chewable. This is just this month. Every month it changes. This month, this is a chewable. It's got some natural melatonin in it and some immune boosting properties. Some spiced turmeric tea, and this cute little coffee cup that reminds me of the ones we had growing up. They're a little bit smaller, and I got that the last time. So you can get those thrown in your box for free, and points, lots of points. And so if you really also, that's my husband's favorite, and I almost forgot it. So you get a small bottle of that. But if you really want to tackle your health, be able to have, an arsenal this winter and ongoing, and you're going to really want to be on subscribe to save. But you do what fits you. Reach out to the person who has shared Young Living with you. If you don't have someone, any of us would be willing to be that person for you, and you can be in our community all the time, and really a wonderful family to be a part of. So we'll check and see if there's any questions or any comments. You guys can unmute yourself and share some things that you have on your heart.
I saw over in the chat, Kathy, if you're able, could you please mute yourself? We can hear a little bit of rustling there, dear. I saw in the chat, thank you all for participating in the chat. It looks like, Shauna, you got some awesome ideas for things that you can do for household cleaner. So one of the things I didn't mention when I was talking about like the chemicals and how much it affects us, I looked up some stuff because the researcher in me couldn't help it. The number of chemicals that are used in household items in the United States is over 84,000, guys. Over 84,000 man-made chemicals are used in household cleaning products, okay? The number of those chemicals that have actually been tested by the FDA, 200. Out of 84,000, only 200 have been tested by our own FDA. And of those 200 that have been tested, only 5 have been banned. 5 chemicals out of 84,000. The last time the law was changed about chemicals, the chemical safety laws in the United States, the last time that that was updated was 1976. Okay, so when we're talking about chemicals and household cleaners, I love that Shauna, you have some ideas now about household cleaners. Bleach is actually really, really, really bad for your system. And we have amazing ways to get the same power. Lemon oil is a natural bleaching kind of agent, but it doesn't affect color. So it's color safe. And also, did you know that sunshine is phenomenal at bleaching clothing? I learned that from cloth diapering too. It all comes full circle. But yeah, sunshine and lemon oil are two of the most simple ways that you can get stains out of clothing. Now, other stuff like you can make your own scrub. The recipe is there with hydrogen peroxide, water, and household cleaner. That's a great little scrub, but we also have Thieves Scrub now. That is so, so good. And Thieves dishwasher powder is an amazing scrub as well. You can DIY a lot of stuff though. A little bit of household cleaner with some baking soda and some lemon oil added to that is like amazingly cleansing. And lemon, just like you would use a lemon, like cut it in half and use it to disinfect your cutting board. Have you ever seen them do that on the cooking channel? Salt and lemon, that's how people disinfect their cutting boards. Yeah, lemon oil, same properties, it comes from the lemon. So it's a great cleaner. Anyway, though, I thought it was important to say that. And air fresheners, candles, and cleaning supplies are the top 3 worst chemicals in your home. Air fresheners, candles, and cleaning supplies. Yikes. So this is absolutely essential. It's so important that people know better because we're actually harming ourselves inside our own homes without realizing it. The FDA doesn't regulate this stuff and they're not out to protect us. The chemicals that have been regulated, it's after people die of cancer and children are born with birth defects and so many people are injured that finally lawsuits come up and the FDA has to ban something. So like keep that in mind. But anyway, other questions? Are there any other questions about Young Living? Thank you for participating in the chat. That's awesome. It's so simple. If you're ready to get started, all you have to do is reach out to the person who invited you to this class. And when you sign up with their member number, then you get to be added to the community. So who you sign up with is absolutely important as well, because when you have a community, Stephanie talked about that, when you have a community that is supportive and gives you the education that you need, that's how you are successful. And this community has been such an incredible blessing, I know, to all of us who are here who are part of it. It's such a blessing. So we thank you again for coming tonight. Thank you for your participation. And this was recorded. We will have the link available and you'll be able to share it with friends and family and people that you know need to know about the importance of getting rid of chemicals and using your easy button. So thank you. Thanks for attending. God bless. Have a great night.